What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Draymond, and welcome to Thorium Gaming. We're back with Light of the Asur episode 12, and last time we did a lot of rebuilding. The chaos stacks that spawned essentially took out the entire west coast, blew up the glittering tower. It was a lot of damage. And of course, the lizardmen and the Druchii are kind of at pace with us to gather up their fragments, their individual fragments. I think it's scrolls of Hecate for the Druchii and ancient plaques for the lizardmen. But they are catching up to us, and we have got to start getting ahead of them again. We have some forces out on the open ocean trying to gather up a few of these fell cargoes and crash ships and other things that are going to give us money and hopefully some good items. We are going to try to get a couple of White Lion Ashrace units inside my army so that we can continue on with the Dragon Armor of Anaerion questline, and that'll lead up to a pretty decent fight. I don't remember if that's the Druchii one or if that's the Swordmaster. I think we did the Swordmaster one. But either way, it's going to be great. So let's start off. I already moved Auric back towards his little base inland, and we don't really have any forces out south. So let's see what building we can upgrade right now. It's Injurial in the Shrine of Azurian. I always say Azuran, and I don't know why. It just kind of happens. And if you guys notice, I'm a little bit tired today. The holiday season is being the holiday season, and we got a ton of snow. Stuff no one wants. So we'll go with that. We're not going to upgrade the Shrine of Azurian or Injurial right now. We could keep rebuilding White Peak and the High Vale. They are two of the cities that got destroyed. But I kind of want to brace up Lothern and see what we can do there. Do we have... Yes, we do have a Elven Court already built. So let's build some more trinkets there to increase our gold per turn. We do have a fair amount of gold in our treasury right now. We picked up a couple of those skull reefs, and that helped us out. Kalidor's Repose and Torsa Thigh can both be upgraded right now, but I kind of want to hold off and eventually upgrade Val's Anvil. That's the words I'm looking for. But to do that, we're probably going to have to upgrade at least one of them. Let's update Kalidor's Repose and throw a farm in this last slot, so that we can start getting better growth out of our settlement. We don't really want to upgrade Nagaroth just yet. And all of our lords have either completed or mostly completed their movement for this round. And Chaplain Grimaldus, last turn, did a bunch of damage, and I think he's still riding a... Yes, he's still riding a Sun Dragon. When we get up to level 20... we're going to get him immortality, so we don't lose the good chaplain ever. He'll just get hurt. And then we'll get him a Star Dragon. He's only a couple of levels off, and we can probably send him over to deal with the Druchii themselves. Slow at least one of the enemy factions down. I don't want to go to war with the Lizardmen, because they're not actually bad guys. They're just following the plan of the old ones, according to how they view it. Lord Mazdamundi reads the plaques and the signs that the old ones put out there, and tries to act in accordance with that. But let's end the turn there, and see the last little bits of our movement go off. Of course, Sanina's up north, cleansing some of the corruption. There's a little bit left after the Druchii were there. They do follow Slaanesh, so there is a little bit of corruption still on Ulthuan. We're going to get rid of it. And we still don't know what Avalorn, Yvres, and Illyrian are going to do. The Pirates of Sartosa are on Ulthuan right now. They finally decided to make landfall. But I'm not too sure what we're going to do. And it looks like Kothik stole one of our skull reefs. So we don't get the money out of that one, which is kind of sad. But Kothik's doing okay. They've been fighting off the Norse up north. Been kind of our northeastern flank this entire playthrough, so I don't mind giving him a little bit of money. And we will have to decide if we want to confederate with one of the other elven provinces in the next couple of turns here. I'd rather not really do it with Yvres. Let them keep fighting the pirates of Sartosa. I would love to confederate with Avalorn and get the entire inner ring of Ulthuan done. But we'll see how things go over the next couple of turns. And the pirates are raiding and causing problems. They're probably going to raid that city. Yes, they did. So with any luck, we will see Yvres bring their armies back down to deal with the pirates. But we don't know for sure, and the scalings look like they're coming back in to mess with Kothik. Silly scalings. Alright, so Tor Elisor declared war on the Bloodhall Coven, which we haven't really encountered them yet. They're off in the Southlands, I believe. But Sunshine gained a rank. So what can we give her this turn to make her better? I'd love to get her on a Great Eagle, but we have to wait one more level for that. Because once she's on a Great Eagle, she can just fly off, shooting off her deadly bow, and be really, really, really awesome. So I think we're going to give her Valor of the Ages. Just makes her a little bit stronger overall. And Senina, did you finally cleanse? Yes, you cleansed most of the corruption. So what we're going to get you to do is you're going to head off towards Nagaroth. Nagarond, I should say. And you're going to do a little bit of scouting for us. Eatane again. We could upgrade it. Actually tempted to do so. We have the funds, might as well do it right now. And I do not remember where I am sitting at currently. Again, we're just trying to hold off for our main settlements right now. Let's bump Oric back into the Salvation Isles and possibly increase his stack. We are not generating a whole lot per turn. Our army upkeep is fairly hefty. And that's my army stack right there. So we'll grab this and a little bit of experience. Don't have all of the good ones in the first tree just yet. So I think I'm going to grab Hard to Hit and make me a little bit more deadly in close combat. And then we're going to go to Toranlek and hire those White Lion of Shrace units. And possibly some other stuff to make the fight that we're inevitably going to have a little bit easier. We can't come out of March stance because we were out at on the ocean. I don't know where my brain is going. I'm not thinking before I speak today. It's awesome. And we'll send Agnew up to collect some other treasure. Another sunken ship and some experience, which doesn't hurt. And we're going to put you on a horse this time. So you now have a steed. A noble steed. Then you'll go up and take that fell cargo, and that'll help us out on that regard. And I think we had one more ship out there. Possibly not. I could be going crazier. How is the Glittering Tower? We can actually build the Glittering Tower White House. Yeah, okay. Yes, my brain is awesome today. Too much white stuff outside causing me to think about snow and all the evil that snow is. So let's get the Glittering Tower Lighthouse, and that will really increase our trade. Speaking of trade and everything, though, let's see if we can confederate with Avalorn. It doesn't look like it this turn, and we don't have any influence to spend, which kinda sucks, but we'll be building up our reputation with Avalorn over the next little bit, and then we'll confederate with them and it'll be all awesome. So we have Phoenix over here. How much of the province's stability is because of you? So 4 because of characters, and 4 because of the military presence. So even if you leave, and you're going to leave, because I think I'm going to borrow your dragons for the fight that the Dragon Armor of Anaerion is rewarded to us for. Get you to run up and trade with me. It's a little bit of a hike. Sorry, buddy, but you gotta do it. So let's actually drop another point into White Peak and see if we can get it back to being a little bit more stable. And we'll grab a plaza there and upgrade another plaza. We are starting to hurt our treasury a little bit. We're gonna save a tiny bit of cash for when we get to building our units. And Sunshine, you really can't do much right now. Is there any sunken treasure nearby to you? It would be really awesome if there was, but it does not appear so. My first few playthroughs in this, I completely ignored the things in the water, and I regret it now so much. That's my squeaky chair. Of course, with the Druchii's influence, there's purple streaks throughout the vortex now. I think they're actually beating us on scrolls to shards. So we're going to have to eventually go over and start beating up the Druchii on their side of the ocean. Probably Black Creek Spire and possibly Averheim. I think it's called Averheim. But if we take Val's Anvil, I think that's Val's Anvil right there. The purple glow signifies a place that they get scrolls, and if we take it, we get extra wafer fragments for taking it over. So we're going to be doing that fairly quickly here. Of course, when we get up to the next ritual, we're going to have even more chaos stacks coming at us, and there's going to be a lot of them. They're going to be tough. So what I might do is just send the good chaplain over to cause some problems, and have all the other heroes kind of compress down, get some good army stacks going, and get ready to fight all of the chaos forces that are inevitably going to come when we start the next ritual. The famed island of Albion. Big in the lore and the fluff. It's like a cursed island with the mist, and there's a lot of chaos mutation and stuff there, but the people avoid it, and lots of really, really cool background information for that island. I'd go into more detail, but I can't remember it offhand, and if I had to tab out to look it up, it would be, well, boring. But if you get a chance, you should look into some of the background fluff for the entire franchise. The IP is incredible, right up to the point where they went all Age of Sigmar and tried to bring Space Marines from 40k into Warhammer Fantasy, and that just didn't work. I really love Games Workshop, but sometimes they make some really, really silly choices. And for those of us who are completely invested in the background story of everything, those choices are blaringly obvious. One point in Warhammer 40k Space Marine, Black Templars show up with the Inquisition. That would never happen. So, we've got the Folly of Youth. One of the young princes has basically gone against the known order. Don't want to increase our recruitment cost. I think we're going to spend the gold, get the influence, because the influence can be used to increase our standing with Avalorn. And Chaplain, I know you don't have the greatest forces, and we were going to swap out your regular archers. Instead, we're going to send you out to sea, and we're going to try and get you over to deal with the Druchii. because we're going to need you to deal with them pretty quick here.
Making my way.
And Phoenix, need you to come up, because I need to borrow your dragons for a little bit. Or possibly have you go train some new ones. Either way works. As for my army, we have to go into our normal stance, and White Lions of Shrace. 2 units of those will definitely help us out. If we borrow the dragons, it takes us up to 16. What else do we really need in this army? We don't have a lot of really strong melee forces. But we also don't have a lot of gold. Ideally, I would have a couple of units of sword masters. I think we'll just have to go with the one and hope that it's good enough to be the center of our line. Let's use the intrigue at court to improve our relations a fair bit with Avalorn. So if we can confederate with them, then we get a whole bunch of stuff, including a rather large army stack. Granted, it is just Lothern, Seaguard, and Spearmen, but still. And up on our coastline, Agnew, who has been
Sailing away.
pretty much at sea for months on end, is going to stay at sea until after he claims at least this wreck. Just a little bit extra gold, and he leveled up from it. So we'll give him the next rank of hard to hit now that he's mounted. The mounts do affect your other stats. They make you a little bit easier to hit and all that sort of stuff, so it balances out with the other talents that you can get in the combat tree. We could upgrade the Shrine of Azuran, but we don't really need to right now. However, because we picked up that extra gold, we can drop another unit of Swordmasters of Hoethin, because I believe our mobile recruitment is capable of handling it. And Chaplain, you've already started moving. Phoenix, you're moving up to deal with us. Oric, you can go back to no stance. And you're basically going to be holding that until we can... Actually, on second thought, we were trying to compress everyone else, so you know what? Go back into March stance, and head on down to Lothern. The Glittering Tower should be fine. Greybeard's Prospectors and the Knights of the Flame kind of hold the northern shores here, which ain't bad. And the Knights of Origio. Let's see what happens on the next turn. And Sanino, we are, of course, sending you over to scout for us. I'm really hoping that at least one or two of the places over here is lightly defended, if defended at all. And it looks like Clan Morris has actually completed their first ritual. And go Cathik, you're blowing up Albion. Now, if the other provinces had helped us a little bit more during the last Chaos Invasion, we wouldn't have had to sacrifice so much to maintain our hold on the island.
Champion of the Everqueen.
And you know what? Yes, Tyrannok, we will accept your peace treaty. I forgot you existed, because you got pushed off of Ulthuan itself and are somewhere on the coastline. Kind of an oversight on my part. That's a sorceress riding a Dark Pegasus. And what is Mr. Pappenheimer doing? The scalings being on our shores would normally be a little bit more worrying. I think they're headed towards Lothern. If we have to, we can toss a few more units into Sunshine's army and let her go deal with them. With lots of arrows. And that's a errantry army, apparently. Okay, so Clan Moors has added their own energy to the Vortex and are trying to mess around with the great magical powers. And it looks like all three of these places are unoccupied, except for their garrisons, so that makes it a little bit easier on us. Agnew, we are going to get you to make landfall. You weren't in full speed stance. We're going to get you to head in and see if we can kind of cut off this errantry. Now, the weird thing is that true Bretonnians would never use a mortar. Ever. And having flagellants and battle pilgrims in the same army is a little bit weird. It's kind of a merging of the Empire forces and Bretonnia. But a little bit of creative license is fine. Phoenix, you keep coming towards me to let me borrow your dragons.
Ready to serve.
Or keep heading south. And Sunshine, just in case we are making a little bit of cash per turn, we're going to give you a couple more units of Lothern Sea Guard and 1 unit of light armored archers, just in case you have to go deal with those scalings. Before we end the turn for this round, let's take another shot at confederating with Avalorn.
I cannot do this.
Not this turn, but our reputation is going up with them, so we can try again next turn, and hopefully eventually it'll succeed, but... Wonder what Kothik is going to do to help out Yvres. I'd love to see the other Elven provinces fight alongside one another instead of against each other, but it doesn't look like Kothik's going to actually help out their neighbors to the south. I wonder where Illyrian's going. Could they possibly be going west to hit the Druchii? That would be rather convenient for us if they did. Again, I don't really know what the Pirates of Sartosa are actually up to. We know they've taken one city on Ulthuan, but they haven't really pushed the advantage from it yet. Is that a regiment of renown? Knights of the Blazing Sun.
Tradition is maintained.
Alright, so it looks like PC has gained another level. Ithilmar chariots are awesome as a unit, not so much for the heroes and lords. So we're going to finish off his full plate armor, make him incredibly hard to hurt.
Lethal grace.
And Chaplain, you're going to finally hit the waves and get over towards Megaron.
I hear the Gaddafi crossing the waves.
And Senina, we will get you to start cleansing a little bit of the corruption, because it's probably a little bit higher up here. And it's increasing, which is not a good thing. And Tyrannok has declared war on Cult of Pleasure. Don't know if that's going to be able to help us, or if it's going to hinder us later on, but we'll find out eventually.
Asurian guides our hands.
We are really short on funds right now. So given that Duke Gerard is raiding over there,
Awaiting order. Defender of the
Agnew, we will get you to come in and possibly assault him from behind. And this turn, Phoenix, you should be able to swap your dragons over to us. I don't really want to take your archers out. But, yeah, you know, we'll leave you with everything else. We're just going to borrow your dragons for the next big fight. But you can go over and help Agnew out, taking out these human rebels that are sitting on our island. And next turn we will have the forces necessary to go do the next event. I'm really curious as to what Aerion is doing. So we'll probably see when we get to that part of the turn. And let's just make sure that our relations with Avalorn keep going up. We'll give another quick shot to confederating them.
I bid you welcome in the name of the king. I think not.
So didn't accept this turn either. But let's see what happens from here on out. And of course, the more cities you control, the more fragments you get per turn. I think every capital building produces one. So the larger your army is, or your nation is, the faster you're going to complete the rituals. That's also why confederating with other elves is a good idea. Free cities, essentially. Now, Aerion, if you hit the waves and actually head over and start fighting against the Druchii, that would be rather good. I would really appreciate the assistance. And Yvres, I think you're gonna take on the city? And you took it back. So, we don't have any more human-owned settlements on Ulthuan. Just a lot of humans running around being, you know, humans. Short-lived and not pointed-eared. I have no idea where I was going with that. Little bit of high elf arrogance. Your ears, sir, are not sufficiently pointed. Thus, your point does not matter. I don't know. I'm kind of just talking to hear myself talk sometimes. You know, it goes like that. Alright, so the Rite of Awakening was performed, so Hexodal is going to have another Slann Mage Priest. Very powerful spellcasters. We completed White Peak's tower, and we have completed one part of the Dragon Armor of Anaerion by having those White Lions of Shrace in our army. And now we have to kill 500 enemies in battle. That should not be too difficult at all. I think there are 500 in this army. It's 360. Oh yes, there are definitely enough in there. So we're going to swap Agnew back to normal stance and move him there. So next turn he's going to engage. And Phoenix, you're going to stay in range so that when we need to we can engage with both armies. Chaplain, keep heading off to the west. You're going to take a little bit of attrition after you go over that whirlpool. But going around would take extra time, and I would really like to get a fight in this episode. So we're going to send you as quickly as we can, despite the little bit of attrition. And Sinino, while you are over here, cleansing corruption and everything, how about you try to steal some technology? And you succeeded, which is going to decrease our time necessary for what we're researching right now. And we're going to get you earthing, now that we're able to. While Fiery Convocation and Arcane Unforging are both incredibly powerful spells, this against heroes, of course, and this against units. Fiery Convocation summons a Phoenix, and it burns them. And Arcane Unforging is just a blast of magical energy, direct damage to a single unit. They're great. Having a lessened, I should say, miscast chance is a lot better. When magic goes wrong, it goes wrong in a big way. A very big way. And we do have a little bit of cash available, but we don't have enough to really support any more units. And in Kalidor's Repose, we already have all of those said and done. However, if we get the third rank of the Exotic Animal Bazaar, we can unlock a very particular technology. I think we have not unlocked it yet. No, we have not. Awakening the Old Ones. Minus 5% upkeep for dragon units, and minus 10% recruitment cost for dragon units. So our star dragons will cost less for us to maintain them. And they're expensive, so it's always a good idea. That's why I tend to try and get Kalidor's Repose early in the game, if I can do it. So Auric is probably just going to run back in, because we've ended our turn. And he'll go to the Glittering Tower and be fine chilling there, you know, looking out to sea. And Hexodal and Negarond have finally started to throw down. That's actually a pretty leveled lord for the Druchii. He was on a cold one. And it looks like Kothik's owning the ocean up there. It's nice to see them actually engage the scaling for a change instead of just letting them wander all over the coast and not doing anything about it. I would explain why. They've got a lot of great eagles in that unit. And as much as I love the Eye of the Vortex campaign, it does make me miss the Mortal Empires map a little bit. It's nice seeing all of the factions involved. I play that a lot when I'm not doing Light of the Azure, so there is that. It's a lot of fun. It added a whole bunch of extra life into the game, and all but the Norse DLC got transferred over, so you can't play the Norse and the Mortal Empires. Don't know exactly why that is, but it is what it is. But having the ability to have all the different kinds of elves fighting one another, and, you know, Bretonnia and the Empire, the High Elves, all the forces of order, the forces of the dead, the forces of chaos. It's a lot of fun. And no, we are not going to allow you to have a peace treaty with us. You scaling are evil. Chaos worshipping pains in the butt. So no, we're not going to make peace with you.
Of Ulthuan.
Alright, let us get into a position where we can place Phoenix close enough to reinforce.
Going forth, guardian of the Phoenix Crown. For order!
And yes, we are going to declare war.
My prowess is needed.
And of course the fight is overwhelmingly in our favor. So we're going to let the computer just slaughter those guys and deal with it. And we'll force labor to increase our own regen. We got a weird potion out of it. But both of our lords leveled up. Alright, so Agnew. Oh, you can finally get your dedication. What have we been putting in your army? A lot of swordmasters, a lot of white lions.
A promising lieutenant.
You know what? We already have chaplain dedicated to Kuranos. We have one dedicated to Adioth, I believe. Let's dedicate Agnew to Hoeth. So now those sword masters are slightly better in his army. And Phoenix, you're going to get harder to hit. And did that complete our quest? I don't think it did. 444 of 500. So we need like 56 more foes defeated
Sailing away.
to complete it. Which Chaplain is going to oblige us with by
We will still their dark hearts.
coming over and taking Slaver's Point. We have a hero that hasn't moved, which would be Senina. Gathering extra technology this turn, probably not a good idea, because we only have one more turn left on Drummers. So let's just end the turn and see what happens. And then next round we get to watch as Chaplain Grimaldus starts blowing stuff up. And that is the Witch King himself. That I was not expecting. At all. So it looks like the Druchii want to try and invade Ulthuan again. We might lose a city or two because we have no forces down there. So I'm going to leave the comfort here, and unfortunately, Phoenix, your borrowed dragons have now been absconded with. And we'll go deal with Malekith. And probably reclaim a few elven cities that he takes or destroys. And Gilgallion... Gilligan! That's what I'm going to nickname you as from now on. So Gilligan is looking like he's coming over to assist us? I want to think he's coming over to assist us. There's really something to be said for the Great Eagles when you are outnumbered significantly and the Eagles just slaughter the enemy. I mean, that stack has one unit of foot troops. The rest of it is lords, heroes, and eagles. Maybe they just read too much J.R.R. Tolkien and realized that eagles are the answer to everything. Oh, that's not too good for us. The Deadwood Sentinels have confederated with the Cult of Pleasure, so they now have a lot more. So yes, I was right. It is Vol's Anvil that is glowing purple down there. So Phoenix, since you're not getting your dragons back anytime soon, we're going to have you come down the center of the island. And hopefully be able to counteract Malekith. He's going for Tor Anrock. So Agnew, we're going to send you to the Griffin Gate. And I'm going to pop into March stance and see if I can get down there before Malekith causes too many problems. We'll probably lose Tor Anrock. Before we do any stealing of technology, however, we're going to get our dragon ability in a couple of turns. So let's grab Maritime Empire because it's quick. And then Senina, you can steal technology.
I call thee.
And of course, get yourself a level in the process. And we're going to get you Power Drain, so you have more magic to play around with. Of course, you have Soul Quench and Shield of Sapphire already, which are incredibly beautiful spells.
Your behest? Across the
Chaplain will
waves,
just have you grab
Druchii
that
is
on your way
around.
in, so you level up. Get you another rank of Blade Shield. And if we set you back to March stance, you won't be able to do anything. So we're going to just get you out onto the island against the Cult of Pleasure. We're not actually at war with them right now, but it's Malekith's mother, Morathi, that leads that faction. We're going to save the rest of our gold, because we're probably going to lose a fair bit of our income when Malekith hits the shores. There's not really any rights that can help us out right now. So we'll save that, and we'll see what Malekith decides to do. It is worrying a little bit. And Malekith has sieged one of our cities. And it looks like, maybe the army of Mr. Blackstone is headed north. Fangshield might come over and try and mess with us in a little bit, but not right now. There's a couple of rebel armies over here. So maybe the Dark Elves are not in as good a shape as we thought they were. And both Auric and I gained Taskmaster, because we spent multiple turns in March stance. So our campaign movement's actually increased, which is coincidental timing, because we have to get down there and stop Malekith from taking Toranrock.
My people have striven to keep you from our realm.
And yes, Negrith, we will go into a defensive alliance with you, because again, we want to confederate you. We don't want to have to destroy the actually noble defenders of Negarith. Not Negaroth, but Negarith. Because they've been fighting a war against the Druchii for ages. There's a unit called Shades. I believe it's Shades. In the High Elf Army book, and it's all Negarithian warriors who refused to bend knee to Malekith when he went all insane and stepped into the flame of Azurian. I can never pronounce that word. I'm just bad at talking. And they decided to fight a guerrilla war against him and all the Druchii, and they've been doing it for hundreds of years. Again, little piece of the fluff that's enjoyable. Alright, so Toranrock is besieged. Let's see what's in this army stack. We can only see a couple of Dark Dreadspear, Dark Shards with shields.
Ready for orders. Setting forward.
I gotta move it to get over there.
Can I offer?
And Chaplain Grimaldus, we're gonna swap you into no stance. Then we're gonna have you attack Slayer's Point.
Oriah! The Asur follow strength.
And of course, it's a massive, massive landfall victory for us. Might as well toss banner on them.
A strong leader is needed.
So we'll let Chaplain's
The
forces
greater
auto-resolve
good
that,
has triumphed.
which will complete part of a quest.
Search out anything of value.
And we'll occupy it, so it gives us a base of operations over in Negarond. That's another 10 white fragments and some gold. And now there is a fight against Malekith, ironically enough, that we have to win to get our Dragon Armor. And since you leveled up, you are now immortal, Chaplain Grimaldus. You cannot die, no matter how many times I try to kill you in Bloody Trapland.
It shall fall.
And Sinina has successfully stolen some technology, and you are a gatherer. Research rate is increased by an additional 5% when you steal technology. So that's great. And now we can finally get you Fiery Convocation rank 1. You have a single target spell with your Soul Blaze. And now you can just summon a Phoenix down to burn swaths of the enemy. Well, we didn't really get the good fight that I was hoping for this episode, but that's a good enough place as any to leave it off for this week. So if you did like the video, guys, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, possibly see your name pop up in one of these videos, or join me for one of the Wednesday one-offs, just hit that subscribe button, and make sure to turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video comes up. Until next time, guys, remember, life is a game, so play to win, and have yourselves a Merry Christmas.